Hi, and welcome back to the Geeky Boomer. I am PixelPia, your host. If you listened to or watched my last episode, we talked about digital literacy and computer literacy and the differences between different generations. Today, I will continue a little bit on the same theme by talking about the digital divide. So, what is the digital divide? Well, it refers to the gap between individuals who have access to modern information and communication technology and those who don't. This includes access to devices such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, and the internet. But the divide is not just about the physical access to technology, but it also includes things like knowledge and skills to effectively use these tools. The digital literacy. The divide itself is influenced by several factors: socio-economic status, education, age, and geography among the key determinants. For instance, people with higher income and education levels generally have more access to technology and to the internet. Similarly, urban areas typically have better access compared to rural regions. The divide can also be seen globally, with developed countries having better access to ICT than developing ones. The digital divide has significant implications for economic opportunities, social integration, and educational equality. Lack of internet access can limit job opportunities, hinder economic growth, and exacerbate social and educational inequalities. It can also lead to further social stratification and segregation. Addressing the digital divide requires more than just providing access to devices and the internet. It is about improving digital literacy, ensuring affordability of technology, and enhancing the quality and relevance of the content. Solutions to the digital divide must be affordable, equitable, and appropriate for each individual community. Increasing connectivity in all communities, providing widespread internet access, and investing in digital literacy initiatives are some of the strategies that can help bridge the gap. However, it is important to note that the digital divide is a complex issue with no one size fits all solution. Each community may face unique challenges that require tailored approaches. Therefore, effort to bridge the digital divide should be locally appropriate and involve collaboration across various sectors, including governments, businesses, and community organizations. So, with that as a backdrop, let's start by taking a look at the digital divide when it comes to gender, generation, and education. The gender divide refers to disparity in access to and use of digital technologies between men and women. According to a literature review by UNICEF, there is a significant gap in digital adoption and use between women and girls compared to men and boys. More than 50% of the world's women are offline. This divide is particularly pronounced in low income countries and among marginalized populations. The gender divide not only hinders women's participation in the digital economy, but also has significant economic implications, with women's exclusion from the digital world costing low and middle income countries $1 trillion over the last 10 years. The generational digital divide refers to the gap in digital literacy and use of technology between different age groups. Younger generations who have grown up with digital technologies often have higher levels of digital literacy compared to older generations. This divide can have significant implications, particularly in the healthcare environment, where digital technologies are increasingly being used for patient care and communication. Older generations who lack digital skills may face challenges in accessing and using digital healthcare services. The educational digital divide refers to the gap in access to and use of digital technologies in the educational context. This divide can be seen both within and between schools and districts, with students from low income, underserved communities often having less access to digital technologies compared to their peers from more affluent communities. The digital divide in education can have significant impact on students' academic outcomes, and the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to a shift towards online learning, has further highlighted and exacerbated this divide. Students without access to the necessary digital tools and resources may struggle to participate in online learning, leading to lower academic performance. The digital divide is a multifaceted issue that affects various groups differently. Addressing the divide requires comprehensive and tailored solutions that take in account the specific needs and challenges of different groups. This includes promoting digital literacy, improving access to digital tools and resources, and creating inclusive digital environments. And with that said, we are going to take a look at the consequences of this divide. The digital divide has significant consequences for individuals and communities. And here are some of the impacts. Lack of access to digital resources can limit job opportunities and hinder economical growth. People with lower incomes may not have the resources to purchase digital devices or pay for monthly internet service, which can limit their ability to participate in the digital economy. The digital divide can lead to social stratification, further segregating those with and without access to digital resources. It can also exacerbate existing forms of discrimination, such as gender discrimination. People living in rural, remote access areas or less developed countries may not have access to the broadband infrastructure necessary to access the internet, leading to social isolation. Lack of internet access can also hinder students' ability to participate in online learning access educational resources, and complete assignments. This can lead to lower student performance and exacerbate educational inequalities. The digital divide can limit access to information and communication, leading to a lack of knowledge and isolation. This can affect mental health and contribute to misinformation. The digital divide can also limit access to political information and participation, leading to a lack of representation. So, the digital divide has significant consequences on individuals and communities, as I said, affecting economic opportunities, social integration, educational equality, communication, and political participation. So, what can be done? Bridging the digital divide involves a multifaceted approach that addresses both access to technology and the skills to use it. Here are some strategies that can be employed. Governments play a crucial role in bridging the digital divide. They can invest in an infrastructure to increase broadband availability, especially in underserved and rural areas. They can also provide funding and resources to promote digital equality and literacy. For instance, they can support initiatives that provide tools and resources to help individuals become digitally literate. Additionally, governments can enact policies that allow cities to provide their own broadband, thereby stimulating the supply of internet access. Increasing digital literacy is a key strategy in bridging the digital divide. And I talked a lot about this in my last episode. This involves providing education and resources to help individuals develop the skills needed to use digital technologies effectively. Digital literacy not only increases access to online opportunities, but also empowers individuals to use the internet in a meaningful and beneficial way. Another way is to use broadband initiatives. They can increase internet availability in unserved and underserved areas. This can involve providing grants and loans to increase broadband infrastructure, as well as offering low cost internet services. Employers can also play a role by providing equipment and technology to their employees. Collaborations between various stakeholders, including governments, businesses, and community organizations, can help address the digital divide. For instance, businesses can subsidize their employees' broadband or provide tax incentives to firms that do so. Educational institutions can also help by providing hotspots or lending equipment to students. Promoting innovations geared towards overcoming the digital divide can also be beneficial. This can involve developing relevant and localized content using local languages in online learning materials and create digital learning resources. It is not only about providing access to technology, but also about ensuring that individuals have the skills and the resources to use this technology effectively. And next, we are going to take a look at some successful examples of bridging the digital divide in underserved communities. There are several successful examples of initiatives aimed at bridging the digital divide in underserved communities. The first one I want to talk about is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's partnership with public libraries. This initiative provided internet connectivity to more than 11,000 public libraries, enabling people in underserved communities to access the internet and digital resources. Then we have BTOP, Broadband Technology Opportunities Program. This program, supported by private philanthropy, provided grants and loans to increase broadband infrastructure and offer digital literacy training for providers and users in underserved communities. We have Ernst and Young's Bridging the Digital Divide initiative, which launched in 2020. This initiative supports underserved students and other populations by providing access to technology and fostering collaboration between the public and the private sector. Then we have IEEE, Connecting the Unconnected. This initiative focuses on developing solutions to the digital divide and promoting equity among marginalized populations by increasing connectivity in all communities and fostering collaboration between public and private organizations. And the fifth one I want to mention is World Economic Forum's Edison Alliance. This global initiative mobilizes commitments to accelerate the delivery of digital solutions to unserved or underserved communities, helping to bridge the digital divide. These examples demonstrate the importance of collaboration between governments, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and communities in addressing the digital divide and ensuring equal access to technology and digital resources for all individuals. But what are some innovative technologies that can be used to bridge this gap? There are several innovative technologies and approaches being used to bridge the digital divide in underserved communities. And here are a few examples. Community digital hubs. These are centralized locations equipped with internet and digital resources. They serve as community learning centers where individuals can access online resources, take courses, or participate in virtual workshops. For example, telecenters in rural areas of countries like India act as digital hubs offering training and resources to locals. Then we have localized content creation. Tools and platforms are being developed that enable local educators to create and share content tailored to their community specific needs. This ensures cultural relevance and addresses specific regional challenges or requirements. Then we have things like virtual reality or augmented realities, which are being used to simulate experiences or overlay digital information in the real world. These technologies can provide immersive learning experience and make education more engaging and accessible. Researchers are developing innovative network architectures designed for underserved or technological and economically marginalized communities. These architectures aim to improve internet access and build local capacity for great educational digital content regularly. And of course, public and private partnerships, governments, telecommunication companies, and communities are collaborating to invest in bridging the digital divide. This includes investing in infrastructure development, ensuring affordability, promoting digital literacy, and adopting favorable policies. Now, at this point, I am a little curious about what research has been done about the digital divide. Here are a few examples of research that has been done. And as always, I will have links to everything I talked about today in the description. In this case, I have referred to many websites. So I will have a link to a document where you can find all the resources I have used to collect this information. With that said, let's take a look at what research have been done. Pew Research Center has conducted extensive research on Americans' internet and technology adoption for decades. Their research shows that the digital divide persists even today, and even as Americans with low income makes gains in the tech adoptions. A study published in the Educational Technology Journal found that the digital divide among higher education faculties is a significant issue. The study found that the divide tends to be even wider in the context of developing countries. But even as in the US, there are a gap between different educational faculties. A paper published in the National Center for Biotechnology Information argues that the digital divide is a human rights issue that reinforces social exclusion. The paper highlights the importance of social work advocacy in advancing social inclusion. An article published in the Harvard Business Review argues that the digital divide reinforces divides in key services and that fixing the divide ought to be a priority as it sits at the center of numerous other societal problems, ranging from racial inequalities to unevenness of access to essential needs, including healthcare and education. And a chapter in the book Learning in the Digital Age, published by Oklahoma State University, defines the digital divide as an economic and social inequality regarding access to, use of, or impact of information and communication technology. The chapter presents various sources of the digital divide and organizations and resources designed to aid in closing that gap. The research on the digital divide highlights the persistent nature of the divide and its impact on various aspects of society. The research also emphasizes the importance of addressing the digital divide as a human rights issue and the need for comprehensive and tailored solution. So how can individuals and communities work together to bridge the digital divide? Individuals and communities can work together to bridge the digital divide through various approaches, including community engagement programs, digital literacy initiatives, and leveraging the internet as a community resource. And here are some examples of specific strategies. Community engagement programs can play a crucial role in bridging the digital divide. For instance, the Chicago Connected initiative provided free high-speed internet service to approximately 100,000 Chicago public school students. This program was a collaboration between the city, schools, and philanthropic partners, demonstrating how community engagement can help bridge the gap. As I have said many times, digital literacy initiatives are essential in equipping individuals with the skills needed to effectively use digital technologies. One example is the Broadband Technology Opportunities Program, which provided digital literacy training for providers and users in underserved communities. The internet can also be leveraged as a community resource to bridge the digital divide. Community run internet initiatives, such as the one featured in IEEE Spectrum, enable communities to build low cost, low power, and portable networks that meet their own connectivity and educational needs. Community networks can be an effective way to bridge the digital divide. These networks are planned, designed, built, and operated by the community and local partners, providing a localized solution to the digital divide. And as I said, public and private partnerships can play a crucial role. For instance, Capital One is partnering with organizations to improve digital access, focusing on expanding digital access to individuals living in rural communities or low income urban areas. Another example of innovative programs is the Rocket Community Fund, which is working with community partners to ensure every home in their communities is a connected home. They have launched new tech hubs in Detroit, providing citywide access to internet connectivity and digital literacy programming. It requires a multifaceted approach that requires collaboration between individuals, communities, governments, and private organizations. So let's take a quick look at what the future can have in store for us. The future outlook on the digital divide is multifaceted, with a focus on closing the gap to drive economic growth, improve social equity, and ensure that everyone has meaningful access to digital technologies. And here are some key points. Research shows that closing the digital divide can significantly improve global economy. Improve. Research shows that closing the digital divide can significantly improve global economic prospects. For instance, Accenture research suggests that if the pace at which women become fluent users of digital technologies were doubled, it could reduce the gender pay gap by 21% in lower income countries and dramatically shorten the timeline to gender equality. This would not only reduce inequalities, but also drive economic growth. The future of the digital divide is now more focused on digital inclusion, which means ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to get online. There is significant evidence that the main cause of the digital divide is now on the adoption side and not due to lack of networks. This signals the need for a policy approach that does more than just to lower prices or build networks to people's homes. A global consensus will be critical in addressing the digital divide, as the digital future cannot and should not be decided by governments and or technology companies alone. The United Nations has set the ambitious goal of bridging the global divide within the next decade. Private companies are also playing a significant role in closing the digital divide. For instance, Microsoft Corporation has committed to integrating gender equality programming as the company and partners work to provide internet access. Closing the digital divide has numerous benefits, including fostering economic growth, individual success, and better social relations. According to research commissioned by the Good Things Foundation, closing the digital divide in the UK would save people time, increase their earnings, and make them more employable. It would allow for more efficient health service, and higher wages would mean increased tax revenue for the government. For businesses, increased incomes would drive more purchases of goods and services. The future outlook on the digital divide is focused on closing the gap through a combination of government intervention, private initiatives, and global consensus. The goal is to ensure digital inclusion, drive economic growth, and improve social equity. Both in today's episode and last week when I talked about digital literacy, a lot have been said about women and tech. And this have made me think about my podcast. So there will be some changes that I am working on. Next week, I will come back and present to you everything that will change. I will still talk about questions that are important to me, but with a slightly different directions. I will also try to include my contribution to closing the gap in digital literacy by having a little bit more of educational input. And if that is something that sounds interesting to you, or if it just made you curious about what is going on in that mind of PixelPia, I suggest that you come back next week where I will be able to tell you more about changes that is coming. And to make sure you don't miss that episode, you know the drill by now. Subscribe to the Geeky Boomer, and I will see you next time. Bye.